What is up, RotoGrinders? We are live on a Friday, 2 hours, nonstop NBA DFS conversation. It starts right now. Myself, Tasteful Tides, Tim Buell, single entry, 3-entry max specialist, cash game specialist, just a DFS specialist. You got us for the next hour and 15 minutes, 6-gamer on DK, 8-gamer on FanDuel. Fantastic Friday. It is a Friday the 13th, and it's also a film Friday. Do with that what you will. Do with that what you will. I mean, why would I say that? Why would I mention that if it's a film Friday? I'm just speaking factually. I'm just speaking facts. Facts are it's Friday the 13th, December, and it is a film Friday. We'll drop the first clue momentarily. We got a big trade in my hockey league, Tim. I don't know if you've kind of weighed in on that. My keeper league, I traded Jake Ottinger for one of the Kachucks, Brady Kachuk. The National dropped a brand new live album called Rome, which was spectacular. I listened to it already once. So I'm in a good mood. How about yourself? How are things?
What was that last thing? What were you talking about?
The band The National. Are you aware of The National, the greatest band of all time?
I don't think so. Oh. I was just listening to the Last Waltz. You ever watch that?
I don't know. I'm aware of it. Isn't that a movie?
Yeah, it's kind of a movie, docu-series, docu-movie. Yeah,
that's what you're listening to?
That. Yeah.
All right. Is that how you get pumped for the show?
Yeah, definitely. gets me super fired up, Dean.
Who's in that?
It's about the band. The band that's called The Band.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Woodstock.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not in Woodstock.
But they were at Woodstock.
Yeah, they were at Woodstock. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Maybe I'll check. I'm aware of the band. I've never really done the deep dive, but the National blows my mind every single time. If you've never seen them, never heard them before, check out the National. Producer Steve's never heard of them either, but you should. Greatest American band going today. I'll say greatest band, but I guess I'm a little bit partial, I suppose. Love them. But yeah, Tim, how we feeling? Friday, 6-gamer on DK. Not a lot of salary savers as we speak right now. The cap is pretty tricky. The cap is pretty tight. We want to get the Joker. We always want to get the Joker. He's been absolutely outrageous. Seems like there's a pretty good chance that Jamal Murray doesn't play tonight. He's currently questionable. That's not official, but that seems like a pretty decent chance he doesn't play. Questionable that Evan Mobley plays. They're like 17-point favorites. Maybe they don't push Mobley. I don't think none of these teams played yesterday. I don't think any of these teams play tomorrow either. I'm fairly certain. So I think it's island games all around. Of course, there's no LeBron. So Anthony Davis is going to pop. He's been spectacular, as is. Well, he's been rough of late, probably dealing with an injury. Hard to quantify that. And the matchup's not spectacular because he's facing Minnesota. Minnesota, one of the slower teams in basketball, one of the best defensive teams in basketball. But his usage is outrageous. His fantasy points per minute is pretty outrageous. Austin Reeves expected back tonight for the Lakers. Embiid, we saw Joel Embiid sighting. That was on the road against the cushy, was that against the Bulls? It was against somebody really, really easy. He had a pretty good game.
It was the Bulls.
He's got his first home game in like a month. He has not played a home game in like a month where, those Philly fans, they can be fickle. I'm not sure if you've heard. But pretty good price on DK, especially where he's 9.5. So spending up for center is certainly appealing, but the other thing is the salary cap. I'm having a hard time messing around and liking anything I'm building. I think more news is going to trickle in that might open some stuff up. Maybe Westbrook becomes a thing if we lose Jamal Murray. A little revenge game for Westbrook against his former team out there in LA. But yeah, how are you seeing the slates? How are things in general?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah, definitely two different slates tonight compared to FanDuel. Some pretty solid value on FanDuel, a little bit easier, in my opinion, to get, go for some guys that are on cheaper end. But yeah, on DK, I feel like the ownership's going to condense on some very narrow pool of value plays. So I'm hoping that there's more injuries so that we can get to more options in the value range, because like you said, this is kind of a tougher slate right now in terms of the cheapies, and you really want to go double stud on DK, but that's like really not in the cards. Yeah, that's not really in the cards as of right now, because I think ideally you want to have Embiid and Jokic on your team, but that's just it's pretty tough. So that is one thing that I'm going to run while we're on the show, is to lock in Embiid and Jokic and Sims, just to see if it gives me anything. Terrible. Yeah, it'll probably look really bad, but I'm just curious what it'll give me. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty tough because I want to play both of them. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. There's some decent teams in Sims that you can get to. It's possible, but it's kind of ugly.
All right. Do you want to say what's up in the chat? Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. All that is appreciated. If you want to win yourself a week free of RG Premium, you want to go ahead and guess the movie today for a fantastic Film Friday. Of course, where do you submit your questions? Submit your answers. In the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Most of our Discord channels do happen to be free. Of course, this channel is free. No MMing, no spamming, just one guess per clue drop. Let's go ahead. Let's kick the people off with the clue drop. And Tim, you do not know you don't know the answer. You don't know the answer, so you're welcome to play along in our private chat. By all means, if you know the answer, please resist from blurting it out and spoiling the game for the people. Again, today is Friday the 13th. Just one last reminder. It is Friday the 13th. Film Friday. Our first clue is friend. Friend is our first clue. Friend is our first clue. Go ahead and tell me in the Discord channel. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium if you're the first person to tell me what movie we're talking about. Anything big picture-wise as far as the rundown that you have your eyes on as far as the potential scratches. There's a chance we lose Vuk, which can open some stuff up. The tricky thing with that is, I actually meant to check. I did not confirm. What is Smith of center and center only, or is he
is
center?
Center only.
That's what I get you.
Yeah,
because if he was a forward, then that's what unlocks possibly two really good centers.
That's right.
It's a good center slate. It's a
very good center slate.
I'm a big fan of. I wrote up Jared Allen earlier today. I think he's good as is, and he can become really, really good. If we get Mobley to sit, and they're 17-point favorites. But it feels like a day we are probably rostering two centers on DK. I know Davis is a forward or power forward on DraftKings, and I think there's a couple other top plays that are power forwards on DraftKings, so you can sort of make it work there. I'm sorry, FanDuel. I should be saying FanDuel. Davis is a power forward / center on FanDuel. Embiid center only, of course, Joker center only. Wemby, you do get the Wemby game, the San Antonio Portland game, as well as the Phoenix Utah game. You're getting players coming back. KD, a lot of these guys have been out for a while, right? As far as not playing basketball, we're getting KD back tonight. Memphis is basically back to good health, more or less. Utah is back to good health, more or less. So again, that's FanDuel and FanDuel only. Phoenix and Utah. Well, I'm sure we'll have some time to touch on that later on. If we don't knock it out, of course, Crunch Time will. Crunch Time coming in about an hour or so. You got Taylor as well as Kirkwood and Kevin Roth taking you guys all up to lock 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Yeah, Mobley is questionable. Did want to note that. Miles Bridges might come back for Charlotte. It seems like a decent chance. He's currently questionable, probably on somewhat of a minutes limit. I think we gave him 25 or so. That one of the more appealing games with Charlotte and Chicago. Unfortunately, we don't get the ball action because, Lonzo is available to play 15 minutes or whatever it is. But, of course, LaMelo on the other side, no LaMelo. Levine officially probable. Giddey's questionable, too, and Vuk with that illness. Really hard to figure out with illnesses. But I think they did call up somebody, one of their G League guys, one of their big men. So that kind of sort of somewhat signals at least they're preparing for the possibility.
I did not know that. Makes it, that's a little bit suspicious.
What's the guy's name? Also, they're getting Patrick Williams back, who's probably not going to play a ton of minutes, I would guess. We haven't seen him.
What did we give him? Like 20 minutes? He's going to be on a minutes. Yeah, we gave him 20 exactly.
There was a comment I was reading in one of the channels, talking about like it's probably going to be a minutes issue to some degree. The 20 is where we're at. Like, not enough to play him, basically.
Right.
I don't think. But yeah, that looks like one of the more appealing games, obviously, on paper. Anything else we want to say as far as the slate before we go forward?
No, I think that's I think we covered all the injury stuff.
Checking to see the guesses here. They're guessing in the NBA channel. I did drop the link in the NBA channel. So we gotta jump in the right channel, folks, because we can't just be monitoring every single channel. The live stream chat. Several people going they just think it's one of the Friday the 13th, which I love. It's not Friday the 13th Part 1. It's not A Nightmare Before Christmas or A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's not Air Bud. Surprisingly, I think we did Air Bud once. It's not it either. But there you go. Keep firing off those guesses. We'll go ahead and drop the second clue momentarily. Let's knock out the first game here, Tim. There's two games. Two games start at 7 o'clock. The, I think, less appealing of the two. You tell me. Well, it depends, I suppose. 228.5 is the total. Philadelphia is a 6-point favorite here versus the Pacers. Again, we talked about Embiid playing his first home game in a month. He did play, a couple days ago or whenever it was. When they last played, he did play a pretty good game, so good for him. Philadelphia is pretty healthy. There's no Caleb Martin. Everybody else, Bona doesn't really matter at this point with Embiid being back. As far as Indiana, they're as healthy as they've been in a while as well. Shepard is still out, but Naismith is out. But otherwise, they are clean. They are good. I don't really love this game, and I think you can play Embiid, and that's probably, I don't want to say that's it, but Paul George revenge game. There's a lot of revenge in this slate, by the way. I was kind of going through that in my head as well earlier, but I'm not terribly enthused about this one. Do you want to change my mind? Do you agree?
I know. I do not want to change your mind. I completely agree with you. These two teams I'm getting the least of in Sims. The Pacers and the 76ers dead last in Sims in terms of team exposures. I don't mind like getting to a one-off of Embiid. He'll be kind of popular, but he's in a really, really amazing spot. So I don't mind if you want to play Embiid. I think that's completely fine at 9,500. But really, other than that, I don't really like this spot. I don't like this game. I think this is a pretty easy game to get away from. I think Indiana is pretty much too expensive as well. Like Siakam and Turner are too expensive. Mathurin's too expensive. I think Halliburton, he can get you 50 fantasy points, but I just don't think this is the best matchup for him. So I'm out on everybody for Indiana. And then really, it's just a beat for me. So this game, it's hard. Like if I was building 150, I probably match the field with Embiid, and that's really about it.
Yeah, that's kind of where the field is, right? I'm looking at DraftKings. The only player that's really getting ownership is Embiid, 9.5, kind of a discounted price when you consider what he does historically, giving him 32 minutes. Nemhard at 15%, and that's only because, again, the slate is not offering a ton of value plays. 4-3. He's got a median projection of 22 fantasy points on DK, which is whoop-de-doo to some of my inner day pots. Cheese is good. McConnell, I suppose. Hey, it's a McConnell revenge game too. Remember that? He used to play for Philly. It's hard for me to get excited about any of this. You mentioned Pascal. Pascal now at 8-1. I guess Turner might be asked to play a few extra minutes to just sort of run even with Embiid, I suppose. But Embiid's only going to play 32, 33. I don't think they're going to push him much beyond that. And
he's going to get absolutely torched by Embiid.
Yeah. I really, if you want to play the narrative thing, I really think he's going to want to, like, obviously they always want to do good when they're out there playing sports, but I think they're going to want to get him going. Again, the home crowd has not seen him since he was terrible. I think it was opening night.
He's terrible.
Who's terrible?
Embiid.
Yeah,
I'm just going back to call back to me being a hater on Embiid.
That
I
was
threw
our
up his
pre-show
picture
conversation.
before if you didn't see it.
Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, personal games. Let's see. Oh, I did not see this. Well, Embiid's like a big guy, and it's a lot of weight, and he's but a lot of mileage on those knees. Yeah, all right, fair enough. People do like to give him a hard time. And also, by the way, in FanDuel, Embiid less owned over there. Makes sense. You can only roster one center, and the price is a little less appealing as well. Most popular player over there is Nembhard, and again, like I don't want that.
No,
it's not. I can't imagine that's something I need. It probably doesn't like kill me, but I can't imagine that's something I need. As far as Nembhard is 22, fantasy points are 4.7. That's just does not get me excited, and nobody else beyond single digits or so on FanDuel. Embiid at 10.6, 2% ownership. Okay, I mean, if you're running 150, I know you're not running 150. I'm not running 150, so we wouldn't really consider him, I don't think. But I don't think it necessarily X him out, and obviously it's not hard to get over the field. The chat does not like Embiid. Yeah, and Derek's saying he's a bum. Jim's asking about Paul George. I know it's like a cliche. It's just he's fine. And like I don't have a lot of even somebody else in the chat was talking about stars and scrubs. I don't know how it's a really hard stars
as of right now, it's not really a stars and scrubs slate.
Yeah.
It's really just a star and then mid range. That's what kind of slate it is right now. One star.
Yeah. Anything else we should say as far as Indiana and Philadelphia?
No, I think we can move on.
We shall move on. Washington, Cleveland, 232.5 is a total. We like that. 232.5, but almost 125 of those points delegated to the Cavs. The Cavs have the biggest team total on the board. Mobley is questionable officially. Otherwise, obviously we haven't seen Max Strus in a while. I don't think we've seen him all season long, to be honest. I think he got hurt in preseason, if I'm not mistaken. Okoro is probable. As far as Washington, they're missing some pieces. No Malcolm Brogdon. Who knows if he's played his last game for Washington? He might get moved at some point. Keyshawn George, and as well as Kispert, of course, is out, and Kuzma, who's been out for a while. So they are pretty thin. Of course, the matchup here versus Cleveland set up for failure. Cleveland, good basketball team, playing faster this year, but good defensive team as well. We're expecting Jonas Valanciunas to start. Speaking of centers, another center you can certainly consider. I think it makes sense for him to start this game, considering the height, the girth, the length on the Cleveland side, especially if Mobley goes. I guess if he doesn't go, it might change things. I'm not sure. Who would start if Mobley doesn't start? Would it be? It could be Dean Wade, is a big boy.
I was going to say probably be Dean Wade.
Yeah, so I guess that wouldn't really change Washington. We're expecting Carrington, Koulibaly, Sarr, Joval, another guy who's going to be on the move theoretically soon, and Jordan Poole starting for Washington. So, this is the old, Cleveland looks great, but do they just completely shellac Washington and you don't get any fourth quarter points? Because I like the Cleveland. And the only guy really getting ownership right now, of course, things will change if Mobley's out, is specific to FanDuel. Darius Garland's got a really good price over there. But otherwise, nobody's really jumping off the page as must play. Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, nobody's jumping off the page as must play, but I do still possibly want to get exposure to both sides of this game, even in single entry and in 3 max type contests. I'm really confused about what to do with Joval. I think he's going to be right now. He's pretty popular, and he's simming pretty well also. So it's definitely kind of one of those things where I don't want to play him into a ton of ownership, even though if they're going to compete in this game, he's going to have to be out there and play and do at least fairly well. So Valanciunas is kind of a tough decision that I'm having right now. Like we talked about, there's huge opportunity cost at center on the slate, and I don't know if like he can even compete with guys like Mobley and Allen. Like, so if they get blown out of this game, how many minutes is he really going to be playing? You know, I'm not entirely sure, but we have him projected for 33 DK points, which is really, really awesome at 5,500. So it's definitely one of those spots where I'm struggling with right now. I think Justin Champagnie coming off the bench, we have him projected to coming off the bench at 4,500 is a really good play in any format, any size GPP. He's projected for some ownership as well, but I think he's in a really good spot. If you think this game can stay somewhat competitive, I don't mind Jordan Poole, but he's not somebody that I'm really actively seeking out. And then moving on to the other side, like you said, Garland on FanDuel is in a fantastic price. I really want to play Evan Mobley if he suits up, especially since he's got that power forward center eligibility. And then if Mobley were to sit, Allen would become pretty much a must play in cash and GPPs.
Got the if then here, Tim. If we happen to get Mobley ruled out, Jared Allen would get boosted to about a 39-point projection on DK as a median projection, 38 on FanDuel. Looked really, really strong on DK. Again, the problem is, there is a problem, he's also a center. A lot of centers.
I would take that one though.
I think I would too. I think I would as well. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get, I shouldn't say not, but highly unlikely you're going to be able to find a way to get to both or two of Joker, Davis, and Embiid. That's really hard to do unless like some dramatic stuff happens. I suppose you can, and you feel like really good about some cheapies, but that's hard to make happen. And Mitchell and Garland will also be in the green as far as positive plays. I think LeVert would be. LeVert's an interesting flyer as is. If you want to bet on like this game blowing out, like he's not going to fully mop up if his game gets outrageous, but he'd probably be like the last one taken off the court.
What do you think about what's your take on Joval?
My take is he's going to start. He's going to be pretty good out there. Theoretically, he's going to be needed, right? If Washington cares about winning basketball games, which they did beat Denver, but they finally broke their losing streak. I don't know if you saw that game. That's Joker.
I sure did. Didn't he go for like 90?
Something like that. He needed to go for a few more because Denver lost. Right. Denver lost to the Washington, who I think Washington has 3 wins, and it's against Denver, Atlanta. I think that's their wins on the season. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on it. But the thing is, like, and he's not going to mop up. Like Valanciunas is not mopping, right? He's one of the first guys they take off the court. Like they can dust off Marvin Bagley. Sarr can play some blowout minutes if need be. Like they can. That's the thing with some of these guys like Champagnie and Sarr. Like even if the game's ugly, like why not get those guys some run, right? Carrington can get some run if this game is full. Johnny Davis. I'm not playing Johnny Davis, but he's a guy who I feel like he's been like a prospect for Washington for like 3 years. I don't think it's happening. Wish him the best, but doesn't feel like it's going to happen. They also have Rashawn Holmes, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I'm getting to Joval the third most out of any player in optimals, and I'm getting to him the 11th most in sims. So I'm just getting him everywhere, which makes me really, really nervous that he's going to get steamed, which I don't necessarily want to play into. That's the only thing that concerns me.
I don't think I'd want to play Joval chalk, and I agree. So
he's already pretty chalky. I think it's going to possibly get even higher.
Yeah, it depends on news, right? Like he can drop though if we lose Mobley. So
right. Definitely. Definitely.
But if we lose Mobley, I'm thinking about this game as like a little game stack, little game stack, and like Allen, maybe one of Garland, one of Mitchell. And this is assuming Mobley's out. Doesn't mean you can't stack it with Mobley. And then like Joval and Champagnie or something like that. I suppose Poole if you want to consider it. But again, I don't love the board. I don't love the board today. We're all playing with the same pieces, and it's something that I'm at least considering. And Joval's probably somebody I don't want to. If I play him, I want to play somebody on the other side, right? Because you want the game to be close,
right?
You know what I mean? Ideally, that's kind of what I want. All right, Anything else of notes as far as Washington and Cleveland?
Nope.
Let's go ahead and drop the second clue. Second clue is going to be dropping momentarily for today's Film Friday on a Friday the 13th. The second clue today is day. So we have friend and day. That's our two clues. Give me the answer in the Discord channel if you want to win yourself a week free of RG Premium. That is the 7 o'clock games. At 8 o'clock, we have an hour break. I was thinking about, like, if we can punt the 7 o'clock stuff, but I don't think. I mean, I guess we can if Mobley's in, and if we don't really love Embiid, we like Embiid. But I don't know if we, whatever. I don't know if I need him. And Cleveland, if they're fully healthy, they can absolutely throttle this Washington team. Is that something you've considered? And I don't even know what news we're getting, but maybe we don't have Vuk stuff yet, which is important. If he's somehow out. Giddey too is questionable. Should note that.
Giddey's been questionable. Giddey's been questionable quite a bit though, and he always plays.
Yeah.
It's the Vooch one that I'm most concerned about.
And I don't really know how to judge if somebody's going to be, they have an illness. Like, there's really nothing to gauge or guide us on that, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you could always just, like, if you like Embiid, just plug in Embiid and just move on and just put a dummy line up, backload it. You could do something like that. Right. But just sort of throwing that out there. Is that something you've considered, punting the 7 o'clock games to some extent?
See, not really, because I kind of want to play. I kind of want to play Embiid, but B, more importantly, I think you should be getting at least some exposure to this Washington Cleveland game, whether it be Champagnie off the bench, Valanciunas possibly, Allen Mobley possibly, even Donovan Mitchell, or definitely Darius Garland on FanDuel, because I am playing both tonight. So now we've got Torrey Craig questionable due to allergic reaction.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Remember we had Andre Drummond in Mexico with the avocados? Remember that?
Right. I do.
That's the rest of my brain went. I don't know what he's allergic to, but hopefully he's all right. He's obviously not somebody we like the roster, but he has the ability to eat some minutes. How many minutes do we have him projected for? Like, he's popped up and started a couple games, but we don't even have him in the rotation.
Okay. All right. So I guess that doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. I guess he would have played if, like, Giddey doesn't play or something like that. Maybe if Vooch doesn't play, but I guess he's out of the rotation again. He's admittedly, if it's not obvious, he's not somebody I followed his path. I did see him pop up, like, starting a couple times, just not waved. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this before. And it was called Tony Snell. Okay. But any other updates for Chicago? Is just that? That's all they're going to give us?
Just that. Yep.
All right. No follow-up questions. Hope he's all right, though. Let's talk about the game. Let's open it up. 234.5 is the total there. Chicago is a 6-point favorite against the Hornets. Again, no Ball, obviously. They're saying maybe soon on the Melo, hopefully. But DFS, we care about tonight only. And tonight he's not playing basketball, unfortunately. It looks like pretty good chance we get Miles Bridges back. Seth Curry also questionable too. We should get a new injury update because I'm looking at the 431 from the NBA. I'm not sure if anything's changed, but I am going to pop up and get the 531. Want to get the freshest of news. I'm guessing it's the same though, just in case. Yeah, Curry's still probable. Salon is questionable, but it seems like he's going to play for what it's worth. Trey Mann, of course, still out. Grant Williams out for the season. Craig questionable. Giddey questionable. Levine probable. And Vuk questionable. Patrick Williams officially questionable. I thought they said he was going to play, but yeah.
Whatever. I think they said he's going to play.
Yeah, I guess they want to keep it.
They're gonna play him. They're gonna play him like 20 minutes. He's gonna be on a minutes restriction.
That's the quote. Yeah, I saw a similar quotes. How do we feel about this game? Brandon Miller, DK is not messing around. Brandon Miller, he's 9K. I think he's a really much stronger play on FanDuel. We always talk about one of our players cheaper on FanDuel than they are on DK. They're probably a good value. He's 8-1 on FanDuel. Would look even better if Bridges doesn't go, but again, I think Bridges plays. And then one of the best quote-unquote value plays of the night, I know we've been I've fallen for this one before too, but Micic looks pretty good. We love the matchup against the Bulls. The Bulls play fast. They play bad defense. He's 5'8" on FanDuel, which is like fine, but on DK, he's currently 36% owned at 5.1K. We did see that game where who flipped the script on him? God, what was the guy's name? KJ Simpson that just outplayed him, and Micic was just terrible that game. A lot of turnovers, wasn't making his shots. Simpson ended up closing, but I would assume that it's Micic going forward. You want to start with the Hornets of this Chicago-Charlotte game first?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely playing Micic in cash games. I'm currently playing him in single entry as well. I think this is just such a fantastic spot against this horrible Chicago defense. Doesn't matter who's starting at center. Doesn't matter if Giddey plays. It doesn't matter. You're playing Micic at 5,100. If Bridges were to sit, I would tee up Miller everywhere on DK and FanDuel. Really like that he has shooting guard, small forward. But with Bridges back, 9K is kind of a lot, so I'd probably be underweight him in GPPs. There's nobody on the bench of Charlotte that I have any interest in. I think moving over to Chicago, my favorite play is Zach LaVine. I think this is a really good spot for LaVine at 7,800, only projected for 10% ownership. I know that Kobe White is simming outstanding right now. Point guard, shooting guard, 6,900. So I don't mind him. And then I kind of like Vucevic also if he plays, but it's just like there's so many centers. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So
hard to get to him.
Right. But I think he's in a really, really good spot, and I think he can, get 55 plus. So I don't mind Vucevic in this matchup. If Vucevic sits, it's definitely going to be Jalen Smith chalk night. You have to play him at 3,500. If Vooch sits, Patrick Williams at 4,400. Yeah, he could pay off that price tag, but he's got absolutely no ceiling. So I mean, yeah, he might be able to get you 22 or 24 DK points, maybe, but I think he'd be an X button for me just because it's his first game back. And we know he's going to be limited. So, assuming if Vooch plays, I don't really have any interest on any Chicago bench player either.
So I guess I read this wrong. I like to sort of spy on the NBA, like the projections teams conversation, right? I just sort of like, I see them talking back and forth, and it's good to sort of, you get some good nuggets, and they pull like all sorts of stuff news-wise. I guess Liddell and Sonogo are both in the G League. This is as of 4/13. So that means that Vooch is maybe more likely to play. I thought that Sonogo for some reason was getting called up. But I guess not, at least as of 4:00. I don't know how close their G League team is right now, but we do have an if then. The tricky thing is that Tim, our if then is set up for both or none, right? The only if then we have is if Vooch and Giddey are out, and of course if they're both out, well, I mean Jalen Smith will get 26 minutes, which is like he's not a guy that plays a ton anyway, but that's basically this if Vooch is out essentially.
Right.
He would look awesome, about a 30-point projection. He would look really, really strong. Patrick Williams is going to get 20 minutes no matter what it appears. White, LaVine, even THT would project pretty well. DeSumo's fine, kind of like a neutral play. They have Buzelis falling back if I was the Bulls, I would just be playing Buzelis. Like, find a way to play, just, develop your young players. They're just sort of stuck like in NBA hell, being like, not good enough to make any sort of noise in the playoffs and not terrible enough to get a good draft pick. Did you mention, I know we're mentioning every center. Did you mention Richards for Charlotte?
I didn't. I guess it would be viable if I was making like 20 plus teams. So he certainly would not be in a 3 max for me.
I thought he was kind of sort of someone interesting. And you're saying that, let's say Bridges is in, and we think Bridges is in, and we're giving him 27 minutes, 6K, it's 27 minutes versus the Bulls or Bridges, like if he was fully healthy. interesting, right? On a night that doesn't have a lot of value, I don't think I'm going to play him, but I don't think it's the worst idea. Richards is 4.8 on DK. I think he's got a better FanDuel price, if I'm not mistaken. Is that what popped for me? I was looking at him earlier today. He's 5.8 on FanDuel, so the same price. But again, center and center only.
Yeah.
Opportunity costs, yada, 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 all that stuff. Let's see. They're talking about, I think Giddey misses. Oh, is there a reason to believe Giddey misses tonight? I'm not sure. We shall see. We shall stay tuned. And who knows when we get that news? Sometimes you get it an hour and a half before the game. Maybe you get it after 7 o'clock. And here's our game time decision for Mobley. Thanks for nothing. That's an hour and a half basically before the game. Sarr will not have a minute's limit for what it's worth. Yeah, the Mobley thing. And like you said, Mobley's a good play if he goes.
Yeah, I think he's a really amazing play if he goes.
Yeah, I just don't know. If he's going to go. I feel like he's not going to play. Like, they're 17-point favorites. Like, give him another day.
I don't know why they would play him, but I don't know what these teams are thinking. So,
yeah, it's hard to get in their brains. Anything else as far as Charlotte and Chicago?
Nope. I think we're good.
Lake Show in Minnesota. I don't. Is this a bad idea to ask? I don't know. There was allegations like LeBron. They were making fun of like the foot thing. Is there something else going on with him? I have no idea. I don't know what else might be going on with him. I did see his kid put up 30 in the G League, so shout out to him.
I read that he was out for personal reasons, but other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, it was personal, and then he had a foot.
Yeah.
So he's not playing. Nonetheless, no matter what, he's not playing basketball tonight. He is out, which is a big deal. Anthony Davis, we sees a boost in usage of like up to like 37%. 1.64 fantasy points per minute, maybe 1.67 on FanDuel. That's off the dome, but it's a lot. It's a lot of fantasy points per minute. He has not been great. I think he definitely used this break. He definitely needed it. It certainly felt like it. If you watch the Lakers, he had several games where he just was clearly not himself. We are getting Austin Reeves back. I don't think he's played basketball in like 2 weeks or so. Otherwise, they are clean. We haven't seen Vanderbilt all season. We've not seen Wood all season. And then Minnesota, they're perfectly clean, unless you count Jingle and Joe Ingles, but you shouldn't because he's not in their rotation. He's still probably on the bench talking smack. That's just what he does. Good locker room guy, good towel waver. One of the sneaky best like trash talkers in the league. Can you still talk trash when you just don't play? I don't know how that works. But and I don't know if it helps him or hurts him if it's in an Australian accent. Does it make it better or worse? Smack talk. I couldn't say. But Minnesota's totally clean. The only hiccup, I shouldn't say only, but the hiccups for Davis. We love the usage bump. We love the fantasy points per minute bump. Recent form not great. Matchup versus Minnesota. Minnesota plays slow and good defense. Their team total's not very high. And then opportunity cost. Like, it's not that much more for Joker. It's a little bit less for Embiid. Or is it basically the same? Yeah, a little bit less, depending on where you're shopping. I don't know, man. I like Davis, but I can certainly see the Lakers just like floundering in this match. I can see Minnesota win this game by 20. So I'm sort of at a quandary. I don't know what to do. You tell me.
Yeah, I'm out on AD right now. He's not simming very well. I think he's going to get a little bit of ownership also. So that makes me not want to play him even more. It's a really bad matchup, like you said. This Lakers team has the lowest implied team total on the entire slate. So Vegas doesn't have much faith in them either. Really, I think he's too expensive. Like 11K center only on DK. I'm just not interested in that. He's power forward center, at least on FanDuel, but still he's 11-1. He's projected for, I think, even higher ownership on FanDuel. And I don't think I want to go there tonight. Just because this Lakers team seems completely out of whack. They've got no LeBron on the floor. I wouldn't mind playing a little bit of Rui, I guess. I think that's okay. I think Dalton Connect, assuming he gets the start, I think he's cheap enough that I might want to consider him also. But really on AD, I don't really have much interest at all.
We are projecting Reeves, Connect, Christie, Rui, and AD. Conley, Edwards, McDaniels, Randall. Randall, another revenge guy, by the way. Also, D'Angelo Russell, double revenge on this game. Gobert, also from Minnesota. Did you speak on the T-Wolves? How do you feel about Minnesota today with being fully healthy?
There's no one that really stands out to me as like a must play for Minnesota. I think if I had to choose, it'd probably be somebody off the bench, like a Naz Reid, Neil Alexander Walker. I don't mind either at 3,800. Naz Reid, power forward center at 4,600. I think those two for me would be, I think, my preferred plays. I don't really want to play Mike Conley. I guess Anthony Edwards is okay if he's going to be under 20%, but I don't have any interest in Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert. Jaden McDaniels is projecting, I guess, decently. I don't know. I question his real GPP winning like ceiling though. So I think he's fine for a floor. Like if you land there, I wouldn't hate it, but he's not somebody that would be actively trying to roster.
Yeah, true 3 and D. I don't want to play him either. And you said Conley, I don't, but like he's the kind of guy, McDaniel's the kind of guy like I might play tonight if news doesn't change. If we are where we're at right now, nothing changes and stuff doesn't open up. I mean, I'm going to play a guy like McDaniel's. You kind of sort of, I don't want to say you have to, but you kind of sort of have to, just the way this slate lines up.
Right.
Nas is another guy, 4'6". DiVincenzo, I don't think it's crazy. 3'9". He can come in and get hot. His floor is rough if he's not making his shots. And even like those guys are all like in the pool of players I'm willing to roster right now. I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm willing to do it. And you mentioned Edwards, like I just never play him. Oh, Randall, awesome price on FanDuel. He's 7.9 on DK. I think he's 7.1 over there.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. 7.1 on FanDuel is a really, really good price.
He seems like the kind of guy that has vengeance in his heart. Did you get that impression as well?
He might.
He's gonna want a couple extra shots. Like give me your shots, Rudy. Rudy, nobody needs to see you like take your 3-foot post up nonsense.
Has he played against New York yet?
I don't know. It's a good question. I bet producer Steve might know. Maybe he recalls. We can fire that in the Google machine, but maybe Steve remembers off the dome. I would imagine so. I would imagine they've crossed paths at some point. But 7-1's a pretty good price. I don't really think he's fitting in great with Minnesota as a general thought. But I'm willing to roster anybody. Oh, I guess they haven't played just yet, according to Steve. I'm willing to roster anybody for the right price. I think 7-1 on FanDuel is a pretty good price. Well, no, he's led me astray. He said they didn't.
Steve doesn't now. Steve's just tilting himself now. We've confused him.
Dante got no effect. Was that preseason?
That was preseason though.
That was preseason. That doesn't count. Yeah. But that does show like there's something going on there.
Right.
Yeah, I remember. There was lip readers trying to figure out what DiVincenzo was trying. I remember that was a whole thing. He was cursing about getting traded away, I suppose. But then he denied it, and who knows? But because
DiVincenzo and Brunson are best friends, right?
Oh, are they? I didn't know that.
I think it was actually fighting with Brunson's dad.
Yeah,
who's a coach.
It was.
It did not know that. Derek says, "Get John Boy on the case." Do you ever watch those John Boy videos where he?
I do. I like those quite a bit. Yeah.
Go down that rabbit hole if you've never any sort of ejection. He does a great job, like baseball fights. He does a really, really good job at breaking down. That's from every possible angle. Nobody does it better than he does. Gets every single possible detail. Okay, let's go ahead. We're moving on. We're done. Yes.
Yep.
That's 4 games. There's 4 games left on FanDuel. There's 2 games left on DK. There's a clue that's just. This is why you get rewarded for watching the screen. If you were watching the screen. I didn't even verbalize it yet, but producer Steve went ahead and dropped clue number 3. And you got a head start if you're watching the screen. If you're just listening audibly, you might have already lost, Film Friday. The third clue is sunny. So, friend, sunny day. There you go. That is our 3 clues. And again, What day is today? Tim, you want to round the people? What day is today? What day is today?
Friday.
But like it's on the calendar. What you're not going to play along?
Friday, December 13th.
All right. Okay, let's talk about Brooklyn and Memphis. 228 is the total. Memphis is a 10-point favorite here. They're pretty clean, cleaner than they've been in a while, I guess we can say, as far as their injury report. Still with Zach Edey, not just yet, but doubtful. He's moving his way up. G.G. Jackson, he's not available. Vince Williams not available. We haven't seen those guys in a while, but otherwise everybody's good. Everybody's clean on the Memphis side. Brooklyn, Cam Thomas is out. He's been out. Zaire Williams is out. Are we going to see Bojan Bogdanovic this season? I don't know. He's out. There you go. That's your, and Tyrese Martin is in the G League for what it's worth. There's rumors of Ben Simmons getting bought out. I don't know who wants Ben Simmons. I heard a rumor like Boston. Like, why would they want him to mess that up? Like, I didn't understand it. I don't know. Like, is he just going to sit in the bench and be like the 13th guy? But, anyways, I guess he can help them to some capacity. I'm not sure doing what, but yeah, Brooklyn and Memphis. How do you feel about the Grizz and the Nets on this evening?
Yeah, I was surprised to see Cameron Johnson with such high projected ownership, but it makes a ton of sense because we need guys in this mid range. He's got like a 19.5 point prop too, which I was surprised to see. So yeah, Cameron Johnson, small forward, power forward. I think he's a pretty strong play. I also think that Nick Claxton kind of as a pivot from Joval, if Joval ends up being kind of popular, I think Nick Claxton is a really, really strong pivot. So I don't mind getting to Claxton. So it's really just Johnson and Claxton for me on the Brooklyn side. And then I think if Ja Morant's really going to be hovering around that 5% mark, I think he's a really, really strong play. Brooklyn really struggles in transition. So Morant should be able to crush this team in transition. So I think at 8,700 and around 5% owned, I absolutely love him in large field GPPs. Same thing goes with Desmond Bane at 6,700. Like, we haven't seen him have like amazing ceiling games, but I think this is a spot where he could do it. So I think 6,700, around 10%. I really like these plays as well. Brandon Clark, because he has power forward eligibility, I think he's a really, really strong value play. I wouldn't play him at center. I would play him at power forward, but 4,300. Assuming that like Edey misses, assuming that we don't get other value, I think Clark is a really, really strong value piece. Like, I like Clark more than Jaden McDaniels, right? Like, I think,
but it's a position thing.
Yeah, but still, I mean, McDaniels is small forward, Clark is power forward. You could both play him at the forward spot on DK. So I would prefer playing Clark over McDaniels.
It's a big jump in pace for Brooklyn. It's kind of like almost like the San Francisco Giants going to the Rockies, right? Brooklyn, I think, is dead last. If they're not dead last, they're like second to last in pace. They are dead last, right behind Philly. And Memphis is just behind Chicago. So it's a massive pace down for Memphis. And the thing with Memphis is that they're kind of like Golden State East, right? Ja plays 31. That's our projection, 31. I guess he can play a couple more than that. And he should be good here in his 32 minutes or so. You mentioned Bane, 30, Triple J, 29. They have too many guys. And then it's just a bunch of guys playing 20 minutes. And, like you said, Clark, 23, Aldama, 23, Smart, 23, Wells, Laravia, and Huff. Huff. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Pippen's like good, but he's not good enough to play more than 60 minutes. And then maybe Kennard works his way in. Not that you're playing these guys, but there's only so many minutes to go around. And that's the hiccup, is the bad pace. And they just, they don't really prioritize, and they don't really need it probably against Brooklyn, right? They're well rested, but they just like to delegate those minutes differently than other teams tend to. And that's one reason why I don't get to a lot of John. They're asking 8.7, so it's a pretty fair price. But I'm just having a hard time getting to Memphis for that reason. just because minutes equal money. Ownership wise, go ahead.
I would only max one Memphis. I don't want to like pair anyone together in this team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And just hope you hit the best one off. So I do think it's a good matchup on paper for them. But I do agree with you that they play a really, really large rotation.
Are you running sim stuff? Because I'm curious.
I am.
I feel like Brandon Clark at 21% is bad. I don't know if that's the case, if that's where he's going to land.
I'm getting to 28% of him, which is quite a bit. So I think he's still a pretty decent play. I don't think he's gonna get super steamed either. So I don't mind him. I don't
think it's any higher than that. I don't think it's any higher than 20%. 0.93 fantasy points per minute. Usage is not great, but he gets there other ways. And as far as ownership, he's like the only guy that we're seeing with basically any ownership. I don't believe this one, by the way. This stuff changes the closer we get to the line. J-Huff's not going to be 10% owned, right? That's outrageous. That's not happening. Tell me that's not happening.
Well, I mean, I think it depends. I mean, he's not going to be if we get Jalen Smith.
Even still, like, maybe I'm wrong.
What's his minutes projection?
Center and center only, decent fantasy point minute player, 1.14, 17 minutes.
17 minutes. Yeah, probably not 10%, but I would think that he's going to be over 5%.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't have a lot of really, really cheap value, and he's at least a really good points per minute guy.
But I want to find the cheap stuff at a different position is the point. Right?
No, I agree. I think that's what will end up bringing his ownership down a little bit, but I still think it'll be north of 5. You
mentioned Claxton. Again, I don't know. I think he's better on FanDuel, but again, you only roster one. I think he's 5.8 over there. He's 5 down on DK. Johnson's going to get some ownership on DK at 26%. But anything else of notes, or shall we move on?
No, I think we can move on.
All right, we're going to have time to talk some FanDuel as well. It appears because we have let me do some math. I went to UCF, so bear with me. Maybe 20 minutes until crunch time comes in. Kirkwood, Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist Kevin Roth holding it down, as well as Taylor Smith. Okay, let's talk about the Hammer game. This is the Hammer game on DK. Clippers, Denver. And this is another one, I think, again, if you want to hold, we might get some news later on in the middle of the slate. Because as of right now, we have a questionable, very questionable, highly questionable Jamal Murray, if you will. And we've seen Joker go off in these games where we think that there's a chance that let me see of our if-then stuff. I imagine, do we have an if-then for this? We do, right?
We do. Yeah.
So Russ, I'm kind of waiting on Russ, and I might use Russ as like a holding, and that might be a bet I'm going to have on this slate. Just like, and he's not the worst if you're stuck with Russ. Like, he still could get there. I think he's projected like 25 points or so, something right now. But if we lose Murray, revenge game, 32 minutes, 37 DK point median projection, 37 FanDuel as well. I think he would look awesome. And I don't know when that news breaks. I'm hopeful we don't get that news till the middle of the slate. That's what I'm hoping for. That's the one piece I don't want. Because I think that's, if there's an edge on the slate, I think that's one of the potential edges. What do we have to say about Joker? He's outrageous. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's just expensive. How much are you prioritizing him? How much does it hurt the rest of your team? What's your official Joker stance?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely playing Jokic. And I do think, for what it's worth, in my opinion, that Murray is going to sit. So I'm already kind of like preparing to play Westbrook, because you have to play Westbrook as well if Murray sits. So yeah, I mean, I'm 100% playing Jokic. If I was playing a 3 max, he'd be in 3 of 3. I'd definitely be getting well over the field if I was playing 150. I mean, he's projected. I mean, his median projection is just so unbelievably high, and then you lose Murray, it just skyrockets. So, I mean, I'm playing him. That's a really, really easy decision. and it's only going to be Jokic and Westbrook for me, and that's it. I'm not going to play any of the other Nuggets players. None of them really project well in terms of value if Murray sits. It's really just Jokic and Westbrook. So, yeah, I mean, I would stay away from all the other Nuggets.
Do you know, Tim, top of the head, what fantasy points per minute Jokic is this season? What would you guess?
DK.
Yeah.
It's got to be right around 2, right?
1.91.
Okay.
I didn't bother to see like how much it changes if Murray's out. Can it get higher than that? I'm taking Murray off the court using the Court IQ tool. I don't know if it changes much or not, but 2.01 in 287 minutes. That is bonkers. An increase in usage of 5.3%, a 36.67% usage. Oh my God, amazing! It's and I don't even know how many. I guess he has fun, but I think he just wants to play with his horses more than anything.
I don't think he loves playing basketball. I think that's all.
He doesn't want to go to parades. He just wants to play.
Yeah, he just wants to like get his paycheck and go home. Like, that's it. Yeah,
it's amazing.
He's my type of guy.
You're saying that you don't want to be here? Is that your way of saying? As long as the check clears, Dean. There you go. Also, don't want to bury the lead. DeAndre Jordan revenge game. There you go. One last revenge game before he's got to retire soon, right? It's got to be over pretty quick. He's got to be a great locker room guy. He must be super, super likable because he's hung around. He does not fit 2024 basketball. Does not fit the current game. Clippers. How do you feel about the Clippers?
Yeah, I mean, definitely getting to a lot of Kevin Porter Jr. and optimals. He's 4,200. Yeah, I know. I don't really want to play him. He may be a necessary evil on this slate, especially since we want to probably pay up at center. In fact, Mobley is out.
All right, that's the news. All right, that's one domino we were waiting for. I was trying to bet Jared Allen props, and nobody would give me one, or specifically the Hard Rock wouldn't give me one because I thought that was the move. I thought he was going to be, okay. So Jared Allen's going to, especially on DK, I think he's going to spike up, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, he's going to go way up in terms of ownership. I think he's definitely cash game viable. He might be close to a cash game must play. Is he? He used to have. Yeah, FanDuel maybe not, but he does have power forward over there too.
Yes, yes, that's who I was thinking of earlier. There was that was power forward.
So I'm gonna see what the projections team says about Jared Allen, but I mean he's gonna rate out incredibly strong, I would imagine. So he's probably going in your cash game team. This is gonna bring down Joe Val's ownership, right? I mean, it's gonna bring down probably Embiid's ownership a little bit. Trying to think who else this would affect. I mean, we haven't talked about it yet, but Norman Powell is 6,700. Now we have another player kind of in that. Sorry, he is. I'm looking at FanDuel. So Norman Powell's 6,300. He's shooting guard, small forward. Now we have Allen, who is 6,800. So right around that same kind of price tag. That might bring down Powell's ownership as well, because Powell is showing up as very, very highly projected owned. So
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that either. I get it. I understand why. I don't know if I want to play that chalky. Like in cash games, it's fine, but I don't think I want to play that in tournaments.
By the way, if I didn't bring the point home earlier, as far as Allen, it's not even just like, okay, Mobley's out, but it's the matchup too. Like, what does Allen do? He does two things really well, right? He scores in the paint. He scores 78.4% of his points in the paint. Washington gives up the third most opponent points in the paint. What else does he do? He does really, really good at rebounding, right? He's a spectacular rebounder, best rebounder on his team. He averages 10.4 boards per game. Rebounding rate's going to go up in the absence of Mobley. And Washington gives up the second most opponent rebounds. So, it's a really, really good combination. It's the old perfect storm of great matchup and the absence of Mobley. But now the ownership is coming. The ownership's coming, I imagine. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. Also, get your guesses in. Clue number 4. We're late on clue number 4. We'll do it kind of back to back. Clue number 4. Today's Film Friday. As of right now, the first 3 clues, you may have missed them. Friend, day, sunny, burns. Burns is clue number 4. Friend, day, sunny, burns on a Friday the 13th. Tell me today's Film Friday in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, live stream chat channel. We'll see what the projection team does with Cleveland. That is the last game, the Clippers and Denver on the DK slate. I know you're playing the FanDuel slate. So we'll touch on that. We got 2 more games on FanDuel. Again, crunch time coming in about 10, 15 minutes or so. Do want to mention Splash. If you guys are not playing on Splash, you've not signed up just yet at Splash, what are you waiting for? Use the promo code ROTO10. When you play $100 in quick picks, you'll get another $50. And I'm told again, the promo code is ROTO10. Play $100, get another $50 on Splash. Producer Steve is telling me we have a winner in chat. So the clues were spectacular today, as they always are. There you go. We got a winner in 4. Friend, day, sunny, burns. And I'll throw out the last clue just for fun. Now we're just kind of getting reps in. The last clue is Jason. Jason is the last clue, for real. Friend, day, sunny, burns, and Jason. Are we getting news? Anything else popping up that's of note? Okoro is available to play. Mobley's out. Okay. And we're still waiting on Denver stuff. We think there's a good chance that we lose Jamal Murray, which would open up Westbrook. Not certain.
And we're still waiting on Chicago as well.
Yes. So the slate can definitely open up. Again, the problem is all the things we want to play. A lot of the things we want to play are centers. It could be Jalen Smith. It could be, obviously, if we have the money, we want to play Joker. We want to play Embiid. We want to play Davis. And then did I mention Jalen? I mentioned Jalen Smith, right? There's other centers too that we just kind of are available in passing. It's just tough to do. It's tough to make work. But that's where the best stuff's going to be opening up. So the best position's getting even better and better.
That's the only thing that's going to keep Allen's ownership in check, is that people might wait for the Vooch news and then play Jalen Smith at center and Jokic at utility. That's like the only thing that might keep his ownership in check.
Let's touch on this Phoenix-Utah game. Utah is a 7-point dog here at home versus Phoenix. We're expected to get KD back. Nurkic is going to be available as well. Let me pull up their official report. Durant is good to go. Everybody's in. I mean, unless you care about Colin Gillespie or Ty Washington. Didn't know he was on Phoenix. Good for him. But, they are – anybody that you're aware of that will be in the rotation is good to go. And Utah also getting pieces back tonight. Clarkson is back from his plantar fasciitis. And also Filipowski, I believe he's back from the G League. Markkanen's back as well. Svi Mikhailov's out, but now it doesn't matter because those guys are back. Sexton, he's got that finger. He's available to play with that finger. Phoenix and Utah, with all the value getting sucked out of this game. Well, on FanDuel, again, this is the center, and I don't think you do it. Nurkic is like, they're teasing you with him. I don't know if you've ever seen Nurkic this cheap before, but what is he going to play, 25 minutes? Can't do it, right? I don't think so. You tell me. I don't like this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to play his full allotment of minutes, so I'm not going to be playing Nurkic at center, despite the really, really, really cheap price tag. He is going to get some ownership as well, so that takes me off of him for that reason. Also, this game is a little bit weird for me. I just think that like Booker and Durant are too expensive. Beal is okay. I think he's decent at 6,800. He's small forward shooting guard eligible, which I like. I think Tyus Jones is a decent play. That's 6,300. But really, I don't, like I said, I want to have exposure to this game, but at the same time, I don't know who. So I'm going to be leaving this game alone. I really have no interest at all in any of the Jazz players. Like Keontae George is okay, I guess, but not somebody that I'm going to be clicking on. Really have no interest in any of the Utah bigs either. So as far as single entry and or cash games, I think this game is an X out.
Yeah, that will be my read as well. Walker Kessler has been really, really good of late, and good for him. But I would not pay 7-8 for Walker Kessler when we're talking about all the great centers today.
No.
I just, and Markkanen's back as well. Like I just can't do it. I cannot justify that. Maybe San Antonio and Portland gets you excited. That's the other FanDuel game. Again, not on DK. If you have any questions, by the way, we'll probably have time to knock out some questions. We'll explain how we got to the Film Friday as well. We'll talk about that. Shout out our winner in just a second. I think it was a repeat winner. I think that was Big Z took it down once again, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of good guesses being fired off. Yeah, I think that's Zidiot in the chat. I'm fairly certain that's who that is. Producer Steve will juice you up with a week free of RG Premium. If you want, dealer's choice, you can get a week free of scores and odds. Your choice. We'll explain that in just a second. But let's knock out this last game. San Antonio and Portland. Zach Collins is out. Big body Keldon Johnson, his entire body's not playing tonight. Portland is getting some bodies back. I thought okay. So DeAndre Ayton's questionable. Klingen's questionable. I thought they're expected to play. Duop Reith doesn't really get any run, like their fourth center is questionable, and Robert Williams questionable. I think we're getting several of these centers back for Portland. That's my I think game. Plan accordingly, I suppose. And again, center is loaded, so and all these guys, their prices have been pumped up. I don't think you mess with it. Of course, Wemby's really good at basketball. You can always he's the center nobody's going to play, right? Is that fair to say? Like nobody's going to play him on FanDuel, basically. I know Chris Paul was looking pretty good. Champagny was looking pretty good earlier. We'll see how that projects out. And I know Vassell was looking pretty good also when it comes to projections. But you tell me, how are you seeing Portland and the Spurs?
I'm probably going to be playing probably 2 Spurs in my single entry and in my cash game team. Chris Paul being one of them, 6,500, way too cheap against this Portland Trailblazers team. He's kind of like a must play in terms of optimals, in my opinion. And then it's kind of a question for me of like, do I want to go Sohan, Vassell, or Wemby? I'm probably not going to be clicking on Wemby tonight, but he is a fantastic GPP play. His game fits perfectly with the FanDuel scoring because of the stocks.
And against Portland?
Yeah. And against Portland, right. Yeah. So, he's a really, really awesome GPP play. I might try to like make a build with him in it just to see what it is. But, obviously San Antonio, I think, is one of the teams you should get a lot of exposure to on this FanDuel slate. They are cheap, really good matchup. It's really a good spot for them.
Just running some new optimal stuff. By the way, apparently just 53 likes according to Mr. Richard in chat. He says that's disgusting. That is it's not great, and I feel like I'm doing a bad job. I'll try better next time. I'm sorry. I'll bring the A game next time. 4 Cavs in the first optimal. I don't like that. That's too many. I think 3 in the next one. This is DraftKings for what it's worth. 1 in the next one. Interesting. And then 2. But yeah, Dean Wade. I don't know how I feel about that. He's projecting pretty good.
That's a big Dean Wade projection. I didn't even notice
26 points is a monster projection, but that's a good matchup against Washington.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, Tim. I don't know. How do you feel about like just? And again, stuff might fall later. He's I think the reason why, in part, is that he's small forward, right? Small forward.
Yeah, it's a perfect position, really. He's small forward, power forward.
How many minutes are we giving him? We get 28 or something. We got to be going pretty high. We're giving 28 exactly. Yeah, okay. And the match, he's a 0.76 fantasy point meta player on the year, which isn't great, but I guess they're bumping it a little bit for matchup. Yeah, I think that's a little high for a median projection. I'm on the projection team, but
yeah, I'm not gonna besmirch the guys on the projection team That's not what I thought his median would be, though. Hey, if they're gonna stick with that, I'm playing him. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just
I don't
I
know the
trust
rates. Yeah.
I trust their guys.
I do too.
I'm not gonna play for Cleveland players.
I'm not either.
I'm just gonna play Allen and Wade though.
Especially if we're waiting for we don't have Chicago stuff yet.
Right.
Got some questions coming in from chat. Let's go ahead and explain. Apparently, ChatGPT, according to Jimmy James, said ChatGPT said the movie was Freddy versus Jason, which, by the way, we just reviewed on the Pick Six show this past weekend. Shout out to Rob who had us watching Freddy versus Jason. Okay, so yeah, Friday the 13th. I had to do a bit of a swerve. I couldn't make it a horror movie, right? I couldn't make it super obvious. Clue number one is Friend. One of the actors in this movie was a very famous friend. Clue number two, Day. Like I just gave you the last name of somebody in this movie. I gave you the last name of one of the main actors in this movie. Same person stars in a TV show that's got like 17 seasons or so that starts with the word Sunny. So like, these clues were kind of, I was kind of handing them out there. I was feeling generous today. So Friend, Day, Sunny. Clue number four, Burns. What if I put a Mr. in front of that, Tim? What do you know about Mr. Burns? What do you know about him? Have you heard of him?
From The Simpsons?
Yeah.
That was a really good guess by me.
Well, no, I mean I think most people know that.
I don't know, not me. I will sprick that one.
Do you know what his occupation is? You know what he is? What does he do?
Isn't he the owner of the plant?
Okay. Also, what else is the owner? Do you know the movie? You don't know the movie. Have you not seen it just yet?
No.
It hasn't popped up in here?
No.
If he's the owner, he's also the
manager.
Okay. What's another word for manager?
Supervisor.
Okay. He's also the boss.
Oh, the boss.
Okay. And if you know The Simpsons, he's not a nice boss. Some would say he's a horrible boss. Horrible bosses stars not one, but two actors named Jason. That's why Jason was clue number 5. Jason Sudeikis, of course, and Jason Bateman. Took me a second to get there. Friend, by the way, was Jennifer Aniston. She's in. Have you seen Horrible Bosses? It's fun.
I think I have.
Charlie Day.
Sure. It's definitely one of those movies I think I watched but didn't really pay attention to.
You forget it. I gave it a rewatch not too long ago. Jamie Foxx is in it. It's a great cast. It's good. There's a second one too. Not as fun, but still fun. Kevin Spacey. We forgot about him, but he's in it as well. All right. Is there any questions popping up in chat? Do you want to tell me what's going on in The Sims? What do we get in the Sim world?
I'm gonna see first if we've done an updated Sim yet, and we have, I believe. When did Mobley get ruled out? He got ruled out
20 minutes ago.
Okay. So yeah, I think we do have an updated Sim. So I'll just run one of those real quick. Okay,
yeah. See if anything else is popping. I know we have projections, but yeah, it takes a little bit longer, I suppose, for the Sim stuff. Yeah, Butthole in chat said horrible bosses on 1 or 2 clues, and I'm like, oh no. And like even Steve was like, Butthow's giving it away, but
Buttho's got to get in the Discord. I don't know what his deal is. He won't go in there.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Shout out to Harley Quinn Carnival in the chat. I think I pronounced that correctly. Giving us the thumbs up. We do appreciate that. We got to get as many thumbs to Roth and Taylor and Kirkwood. They should be coming in shortly. Did I give you enough time? Did I buy you enough time? Anything as far as the Sims? They're still kind of working on it, and we don't have that updated just yet.
No, I think it's been updated. Definitely getting to a lot more like Darius Garland, Sam Merrill, Donovan Mitchell is simming way better now.
What about LeVert?
That's a good question. I'm not seeing much LeVert, if any.
Interesting. What's your cap on Cavs? Will you play 2 or 3?
I'd probably go 2.
We can make a stack now. We can run 2 on Washington if you want to. You can go 2-3. Right?
So you would go what? Wade, Mitchell, Joval, and Champagny.
I want to play Allen, but then like there go my centers. So now that means I can't play. I can't play Embiid if I want to play Embiid. I can't play Davis. I can't play Joker.
Well, I don't think I wasn't really that high on Davis anyway. That's not the one that's kind of like mucking up my night. It's really taking up a center spot early, then getting the Vooch news that he's out, and then you have to play Jalen Smith, but then you don't have a spot for Jokic. That's the problem that I have. So you're kind of eating up one of those precious center spots in an early game. So now we just got the Levine news. Oh, Vooch is out.
There it is.
So
that's another.
I'm glad.
Claimed.
I'm glad that I'm not on crunch time.
So I'm guessing. Well, how is this going to project out? Because I think Jalen Smith is going to now be the best value play
by far.
Okay, but then you're playing two centers? Let's just agree on that. We're playing two centers. Let's agree on that.
You have to.
We got Kirkwood and Taylor and Roth coming in a second, then they'll give you guys some more clarity to it. But yeah, man, I don't know how this is going to work out, but and that's Valanciunas. I think he works his way down. Now all of a sudden now he's
he's worked his way down quite a bit now.
Miles Turner, if you're considering him, Richards, no, like Claxton is a no. Like, why doesn't Jalen Smith have F/C? Like, why is he not playing some forward? I guess he's sort of the backup. Yeah. All right. It would have been much more helpful if he was a forward, but it makes it tricky, which I guess is a good thing. We like a challenge. We're all dealing with the same puzzle pieces, but
yeah, Dalen Terry's also out. I think we only had him projected for like a couple minutes.
Okay.
Wade is starting.
Ugh, okay.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
I was really hoping he wasn't going to start, so we didn't have to abide by that projection. So.
And we're also kind of, sort of, somewhat waiting for. We're trying to will into existence that this might be a Russ Westbrook revenge game if we get Murray being out. So there's a lot going on. This is a fun. It's more fun than it was 40 minutes ago. I think a lot of decision points. Who's going to help us out with those decision points? It's going to be crunch time. Let's go ahead and bring them on right now. Kirkwood, Roth, Taylor. By the way, you guys know who Mr. Burns is?
From The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim was bragging. He knew who Mr. Burns was. I'm like, that's like,
No, I wasn't bragging, Dean. I was surprised I got it right. I was not bragging.
There's a little braggadocious. Your chest was popped out a little bit.
No, definitely not.
Dean, I loved your movie trivia here, but Eric Johnston in the chat says Horrible Bosses is just a cheap ripoff of Office Space. And that's a bad take, right?
That's a bad take. Yeah,
that's a bad take.
I mean, there's a bad boss in both movies. Sure, there's several bad bosses, but 3, I guess, if you want to get technical, and horrible bosses. Ridiculous, how I have a terrible boss. I know. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill mine too. And there's
great. And Jennifer Aniston as the sex crazed boss is one of the funniest roles ever in that movie.
She's the dentist on it.
Yeah.
Was she the dentist in that?
Yes. Yeah. Jason Day is her assistant.
Yeah, amazing. She was amazing.
She does a really good job. I gave it a rewatch recently. Because I watched it like Tim, like 10 years ago. And I sort of forgot about it. And Jamie Foxx is really good too. You forget he's in that movie. It's spectacular. And if you like a good comedy, it's worth watching. But I didn't get Tim. I didn't get your player that's going to break the slate. The people always want that. Who's breaking the slate?
Now it's all jumbled, but I think I will go with Zach LaVine.
Oh, okay. All right. Is he going to make your main lineup, or you're still figuring it out?
He might. I'm still figuring it out, though. I'm not playing him in cash, but I might play him in single entry.
Understood. All right. I'm going to just say Russ. I'm going to say Russ breaks the slate. I'm just banking on Murray being out. I could be very wrong here. This could go poorly, but I think Russ could be a thing. That's it. That's it for us. Crunch time coming in. You got Kirkwood. You got Roth. You have Taylor. Enjoy the rest of your week. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on notifications. But don't go anywhere. 37 minutes of crunch time. It starts right now. Roth, take it away.
Right now. Good stuff. As always, welcome to it. Ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's crunch time. This is the spot to be when the news starts breaking, when when the slate starts shifting. It was alliteration. It was tough. You get two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Kirkwood in the house, repping the B. What up, Kirkwood? Jug up.
Yeah, Juggalo Nation. Shout out to Juggalo Nation. I can't believe that we're here talking about a slate when we've got drones flying out everywhere going on right now. But here we are, They might be drones, they might be planes, they might be aliens. We don't know, but they're taking over the East Coast, allegedly. Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. I hope you survive. I think it's probably aliens.
I think they're choosing to get rid of New Jersey first. I think that's just what they're like. Pick your state, and somebody gave them.
It's a fair choice. We'll miss Cardi. Cardi's all right. But we'll survive.
Man, projections will be rough. But
we'll survive without him. It is Friday the 13th. I did not realize that. Happy Friday the 13th to you, Taylor Smith. How are you, good sir?
Doing well. I was born on a 13th, so I don't think it's bad luck it being Friday the 13th. So let's enjoy some good luck tonight.
So that means that on occasion your birthday is on a Friday the 13th, I assume?
On occasion it does happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fun. It's exciting. I don't think it's bad luck either. I think it's good luck because I think we're going to win a whole bunch of money tonight. And we're all going to be talking about the slate that we took down, the various slates on Friday the 13th. But guys, we got to dive into this slate because apparently news is breaking, things are moving and shaking. And for that, Taylor, I would love kind of an overview of what has just broke, maybe what we're still waiting for, and then we'll go position by position.
Yeah, so we got Evan Mobley out. Nikola Vucevic also out. I was kind of hoping that would be later news, but he will not play. We're still waiting on officially Miles Bridges. I think he's going to play. Jamal Murray is probably the big one that's still outstanding. He was errantly ruled out earlier, and then he was ruled back questionable. I feel like I'm playing as if he's going to sit, and if he doesn't, I will have to panic swap. But he's missed the last couple games with a knee. I feel like he's going to sit again, but that's just a guess on my part. And we got like Blazers center news for FanDuel, but it's not like slate breaking because they're all kind of limited and injured to begin with. So still waiting on a couple things, but nothing major beyond Murray, I think.
Okay, so with the Murray news, if that's the main thing that we're waiting on, if he is out, is that got to play Jokic, we got to play Rust, or are those just options? Or is there someone else that I should have brought up that I didn't?
It's really those two. More so on DK, like Jokic is easier to get to. On FanDuel, it's tough because we have, with the Vucevic news, there's a very obvious punt center, Jalen Smith, who's going to be like a really huge smash play at 4-1, and you can't play them both, obviously, on FanDuel. So obviously you still want to play Jokic, even if Murray's in, like he's Jokic, he can smash anything. And on FanDuel, playing him is going to be naturally different, I would think, because people are going to be paying down for Smith instead.
Okay, good stuff. Good analysis. Let's dive into it position by position. We like to start on FanDuel. We will bring in Juggalo Nation's own Chris Kirkwood, starting us off with the point guard spot on FanDuel. Kirkwood, what do you got?
All right, just tidying up here my lineup. Okay, so yeah, Taylor gave a good overview. Point guard, we've got some options now with news. Mobley out is some big news. We've got Darius Garland is pretty cheap on FanDuel at 6,700. Should have a much higher scoring role now with Mobley out. Great play. Donovan Mitchell, the same thing. Either one of these guys is going to go absolutely off. Maybe both do, but I probably would choose with one or the other. Micic is the guy from Charlotte who's inherited the starting point guard role since LaMelo has been out, and also Terrence Mann out. So I wrote him up earlier. He's not as sexy of a play as he was early. He was never really a sexy play, but he was kind of a much needed play. He's not as needed, but I still think he's a great play. He's got the role. He's got 30 plus minutes. This is the matchup against Chicago. He can do, he's pretty versatile. He could come up with some steals on FanDuel too as well. So I think that's good. Kobe White is pretty cheap, 6,600. I definitely prefer him over Josh Giddey, who's also in play. I'd say 6,800, but that's kind of a decision point. Either Kobe White or Giddey. I'm going with White. Also, you want to play, John Morant looked really good, and all he needs is 30 minutes to go off. We'll project him for like 30 to 32, somewhere like that. So I think, he could absolutely go off in the spot. Probably won't be too high owned at all in this slate. I think he's pretty good for tournaments. And then maybe like Harden is also in play for me.
Okay, good stuff. Taylor, your thoughts at point guard?
Yeah, Garland I think is awesome. Like Kirkwood said, underpriced on FanDuel, great matchup. Mitchell's fine. I prefer Garland just for the value. Kobe White looks really good without Vooch. Going to get a big usage boost. That game also, Chicago-Charlotte looks pretty decent. Overall, I think Jordan Poole, maybe in a tournament, not my favorite thing in the world. They're huge underdogs. Carrington is a decent value, assuming he starts, given the Wizards' injuries, is fine. Micic popping into most lineups as of now on FanDuel. I think it helps that he's shooting guard eligible. Like point guard naturally has a lot more good stuff. And then Russ is a little bit priced up, but like I said, I'm playing as if Murray's going to be out. On FanDuel, we have the late games also, so it's not like you're stuck if Murray's in. So I would be playing Russ and then pivoting elsewhere if Murray's in.
Okay, I want to go to shooting guard, and I'm curious. This comment from Wendy: is anyone playing Torrey Craig because he is dating Megan Thee Stallion? Are you interested in this narrative, Taylor? And are you a Megan Thee Stallion fan?
I don't really know her work, to be honest. I'm familiar
Her
with
her body of work.
Her body of work is familiar to me, I think. But Torrey Craig is unlikely to play with an allergic reaction, so I don't think he's a very good play tonight.
He literally had the
related
fish.
to Megan Thee Stallion. Hopefully not. Yeah. He had the fish.
Allegedly.
Oh, okay. Didn't know
Doesn't
that.
specify what kind of allergic reaction we're talking about, but yeah.
We don't know. Okay. Your thoughts at shooting guard. Thank you for that brief comic break.
Yeah, so we have these late games. Stephon Castle is out for San Antonio. That's going to open up some value at the guard spots. Julian Champagny looks like a good play. Devin Vassell also 6K flat on FanDuel looks pretty good. His minutes have been trending in the right direction. Good per minute guy also. Karis LeVert, maybe a little bit better on DK, but still playable. Could be a few more minutes for him off the bench with Mobley out and blowout risk in that game, of course. Micic also you can play here at shooting guard. Shaden Sharp and Tumani Kamara look decent on FanDuel as cheapies, not priorities, but I think they're okay. Austin Reeves is expected to play without LeBron. He's missed a few games with a pelvic injury. I don't think he's going to be like on a super strict limit. He's only 5,800 on FanDuel. I think that's worth a shout at least.
Okay. Kirkwood, your thoughts at shooting guard?
All righty. Just had it up too. Sorry. Okay. So first, my favorite play from a stud. I think Brandon Miller is going to go off in this spot. He's the guy who he should, as long as they stay close with Chicago, Brandon Miller should get his. The price tag seems a little high at 8,100. It's kind of tough to swallow, but I think there's still upside there. I think he's going to see massive usage. Donovan Mitchell, great play. Zach LaVine gets a little boost without Vooch, and he is also small forward eligible or shooting guard. Kind of like Devin Booker, kind of like Anthony Edwards, definitely like Kobe White again, and Devin Vassell could get interesting at some point with some. If there's rumor like whether it's going to be Sohan or they pull him into the starting lineup, I think he's probably a good play regardless, but could become a better play.
Okay, Champagny starting. Just got that in that news in here from Tides, and now I think I'm understanding what's happening there. Anyways, Kirkwood, your thoughts at small forward?
Okay. Again, Brandon Miller is small forward eligible. Zach LaVine is small forward eligible. Devin Booker, small forward eligible. Norman Powell has been just getting buckets for the Clippers, and now plays Denver. This Denver game could play really. This could be a really good fantasy spot for this game. He's gone nuts off of Denver against Denver in the past. He's too cheap for what he's been doing, the kind of usage he's seeing. Like he's a massive scoring option for them, right behind Harden. So Shaedon Sharpe is a guy in Portland that you get for FanDuel in the late games. I know he's going to get no ownership now with all this news. D'Angelo Russell played really, really well on Sunday night. I watched it. He racked up like 14 assists, had like 30 points. He's going to still be the sixth man, most likely. And Reeves was out and LeBron was out. LeBron is still out. Reeves is back. I still think they need scoring, and he's a guy who can step up and do it. Plus, you get that little Minnesota revenge factor in there, and he's going to be unowned.
I like it. Okay. Taylor, your thoughts on small forward?
Yeah, so Julian Champagny, the Spurs version of Champagny, is the one that pops as a value on FanDuel. Justin is the more expensive Champagny, starting for the Wizards, not as in play on FanDuel as he is on DK. So Julian on FanDuel looks good. Brandon Miller, again, like 8,100 is expensive for him, but he's 900 cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DK. And the matchup against Chicago is the best you can get, essentially. So great play on FanDuel. Cam Johnson looks good with good usage for Brooklyn. I'm a little concerned to get blown out by Memphis, but if it's close, he should be a pretty stable play, I would think. Love the Norman Powell thing, especially on FanDuel, where he's not quite as popular as he will be on DK. I don't mind the spot for Anthony Edwards. Hasn't shown like a huge consistent ceiling, but we know it's there somewhere. And the matchup is a great one. And then Kamara and Sharp, like I said, at shooting guard, look good at small forward as well.
Taylor, have I been in a cave, or has Justin Champagny been in a cave? Like, how is it that I did not know that Julian had a twin in the NBA? And it's not like it's a random name like Johnson. Like, it's a name that stands out. How did I not know this?
Justin's just been kind of riding the bench for a while, and Julian's been like playing a role.
And he's on the Wizards.
Yeah.
Like how many times have you watched the Wizards play this season?
Zero. That's a strong zero there for Wizards games. All right, maybe that's part of it. That is I would just think I would know that just by being an NBA fan, but I totally missed that. Okay, anyways, what are we at? Power forward for
Kirkwood? Forward, yeah.
Or for Taylor?
Either way, yeah.
I think it's
Taylor. Yeah, so Wemby on FanDuel, Castle, I don't think that's a huge usage boost for Wemby, but it's still Wemby. He's 11-3, facing Portland, who's going to be missing probably at least some centers, so not much rim protection there for them. Not that he spends enough time around the rim, but should get there, I would think. Very good spend on this slate. AD over 11K, a little bit pricey, but no LeBron, so more usage for him. Tough matchup also. I'm not in love with it, but the power forward eligibility on FanDuel makes him a little bit more appealing. Ditto for Jared Allen. Playing him on FanDuel at power forward is very helpful. Gets a boost without Mobley, and the matchup against the Wizards is as good as it gets. Julius Randle's only 71 on FanDuel, which seems a little bit cheap for him. John Collins being a chance on Aaron Gordon under 6K. I think that looks a little bit interesting. And Miles Bridges, but I think he's more playable on DK. So Wembanyama and then a bunch of other crap after that.
Okay. Kirkwood, what are you doing at power forward?
If I can make it work, I mean, we got two really strong studs here, like minus, Joker is the number one stud, but Anthony Davis is right there, right under him without LeBron. And then we also have Wemby right there. So those guys are both obviously playable. Jared Allen is a strong play now with Mobley out. Julius Randle, like you said, John Collins, Cam Johnson is interesting. He's 6,800. He's a good, strong play. I kind of worry about his ceiling. I just don't think we see it much. And Memphis isn't the greatest matchup, but he should be massive usage. Going to be chucking. Aaron Gordon will could really benefit if Jamal Murray is out. He would facilitate some of the offense. He's coming back from injury. He didn't play so well in the last game, but it was a complete blowout and they didn't need him. So I think he's still fine. So I like him. And then did I say Siakam?
No.
The price tag gets me with Siakam. I know he just hasn't earned. He deserves a lower price probably so far this season, the way he's been playing. But I just know there's upside in there. Okay. 7,400. So it looks interesting.
Okay. More Champagne knowledge. Both were undrafted, and both are now in the league. That's pretty cool. That's quite rare. Okay, Kirkwood, take me to the center spot where I know we've got at least one play.
Well, Jalen Smith, or are you saying Joker?
No, I was going to go with the value dude.
Yeah. Jalen Smith is the massive value. He's projecting from like 30 to 33 fantasy points for 4,100. Helps you with upside. So that makes it easier to play like Anthony Davis is one of your studs because he's power forward eligible as opposed to Joker. Yeah. I mean, Joker, if Jamal Murray's out, Joker's put up like 85 and like 80 fantasy points in his last 2 starts. I mean, this guy could absolutely nuke again. It's still a good matchup with the Clippers. He should be able to abuse what's his name down low. I'm just trying to brain. Yeah, Zubac. Thank you. Yeah, down low. And so there, Joel Embiid is also going to get lost in the shuffle, especially on FanDuel. He's a much stronger play on DraftKings because he's much cheaper. Massive upside. He showed the upside he has just in his last game, and probably won't see that like huge minutes, but will see 30 plus minutes, and that's all he needs to absolutely go off. So I like that. I like Jared Allen again, as I mentioned before, and then that's about it.
So what are you doing personally if you're in this spot where maybe the best value on the slate is at center, but also the dude who's going to score 85 fantasy points is at center? Like, how are you handling that, Kirkwood?
I'm going to take Jalen Smith just because I think it's just like the nut matchup also against the Hornets. He's a good fantasy point producer. I think we have strong enough other options. Like, I think Anthony Davis, his ceiling is just right up there with Jokic's as well. So I think your overall lineup is just going to be much stronger. Depending on how many lineups you do, then you start. I mean, you could definitely make a case for fading, but we don't have any like super, super cheap value that's like super strong other than Jalen Smith.
Yeah. Okay. Taylor, I'll ask you the same question. And of course, I want your overall thoughts at center, but how are you handling it as well?
Yeah, like it's not like a Musa Diabate situation. Like Jalen Smith can definitely get you 40. So it's something I'm inclined to eat also. Like he said, there's really no like punt value that looks good. And Jalen Smith, I think this is the first time he started all season, but we've seen him smash before, like when he was on Indiana in these kinds of scenarios. If you're entering a lot of lineups, obviously cap Smith at a certain percentage so you can get access to Jokic, because if you run an optimizer, you're probably going to get 100% Jalen Smith. But I don't think it's the wrong thing to do necessarily, because the matchup, like Kirkwood said, is as good as it gets essentially, and he's cheap. So yeah.
Any other thoughts at that position, or are you pretty much, let's say you're doing 20 lineups, you're 15 Jalen Smith and the rest Jokic, or what?
Probably, just because Wemby and AD and Allen, you can play at power forward, and those are probably the next best centers on the slate, non-Embiid division. And Embiid's a better play on DK anyway, so easier to play him. He's cheaper, 2 centers. So yeah, it's really just Smith and then the power forward centers also.
Okay, good stuff. We want to kick it over to DraftKings. We've got about 17 minutes until lock, and I want to remind you the DFS is all about value. Like Jalen Smith, it's the busiest time in the sports calendar. That means it's the perfect time to sign up for RotoGrinders combo. Talk about a guy in a smash spot. We're in a smash spot here at RotoGrinders. For a limited time, get your first month of combo access for $79.99, just $5 more than NBA Premium. Do not pass up on this fantastic value while we've got it. Let's head over to DraftKings, and Taylor, you can lead us off there at the point guard spot, please.
Yeah, so Kobe White, I think, looks a lot better without Vooch, like we said. Russ, I'm playing as if Murray's out. He's a little pricey, 6'3", so not exactly a punt, but it's Russ. He can still put up a triple-double, even if he doesn't necessarily have to close the game. Mičić, a strong value over here too. Garland, a little more expensive, but I'm still getting to him a lot without Mobley. I like Harden for tournaments. I like Ja Morant a lot for tournaments. 8,700. Saw some minutes upside from him in the last game. Per minute production's awesome as always. Levert, I think, is okay. Anthony Edwards as point guard, he's fine. And then Kevin Porter Jr., I'm capping at like 20% because I was getting a ton of him. He's only going to play maybe 24 minutes off the bench, but they're shorthanded. He's good per minute. I don't mind KPJ as a punt on DK.
Okay. Kirkwood, what are you doing at point on DK?
All right. Mičić is probably he's kind of like the second strong value that we have. Like he's a little bit more expensive, but I think we were playing him just because of the role with LaMelo out. Darius Garland, again, a little more expensive than he is on FanDuel, so a little bit less of a strong play. But so I kind of like Donovan Mitchell more. You can also play Donovan Mitchell at the shooting guard position. I like Kobe White again. A lot of the same guys. Anthony Edwards for tournaments. James Harden for tournaments. Jared Butler is a piece of value for 3,700. It's just basically he's going to play. He's getting minutes now, and because Kuzma's out, there's a lot of players out, and they're tanking. Washington, so he's going to be out there for garbage run. He'll be out there. He's got minutes anyway. So 3,700. He's a value piece on this slate, but again, he's like nowhere near as strong as Jalen Smith. But these are the guys that kind of need.
Okay, did get a question about you said Kuz is out. Jimmy says any love for Poole?
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to stay in it, he's going to be the guy doing it, shooting it. Teams have been double teaming him now because it's just so obvious he's going to be the one chucking. So his efficiency is probably going to go down. But he's going to take how many million shots tonight? So
yeah,
are they going to go in?
Yeah, he's never seen a bad shot. He's still getting them up. Okay, take me to shooting guard. Kirkwood, what are we doing there? By the way, we've got 400 plus watching and not 100 likes, which means that roughly 300 plus of you are mean and are hurting our feelings. It's a Christmas spirit. It's about giving. Give us a thumbs up and make us feel a little better. We're trying to keep the show free for as long as humanly possible. We need eyeballs. We need likes to make that happen. Hit that thumbs up. Kirkwood, shooting guard.
It's the holiday season. Please.
Yeah.
All right. Donovan Mitchell, as I said, I like. Norman Powell, I really like. He went nuclear against Denver in the past, and good spot to be in this game. Zach LaVine has the boost with Vooch out. Kobe White again is also he's going to be chucking as well, and he's cheaper. You could probably play him over LaVine. I mean, LaVine's ceiling, he just hasn't flashed that ceiling, but I know it's in him, but I don't know if he knows it's in him anymore. But Kobe White certainly could do really well in this matchup, chucking threes. So Brandon Miller, I love. Anthony Edwards for tournaments, Jordan Poole for tournaments, and that's all I'm really interested in.
Okay. Taylor, you got a few names at shooting guard you want to add in the mix?
Yeah, like Kobe White and Norm Powell look really good. I think Oubre is interesting as an unowned differentiator. He's 5,500 on DK starting. No Lowry, so that's one body missing from the lineup. I think you can pay that off, so I don't mind that in a tournament. Edwards, LeVert, Chris Dunn is okay as a differentiator from the Clippers. The other guys look like they're going to be a little more popular. DiVincenzo is under 4K. I don't love it because his role's been declining, but that's also the cheapest he's been all season. So in a cash game, maybe I'd play him, but in a tournament at ownership, I'm not really into it.
Okay, take me to small forward, Taylor.
Yeah, Cam Johnson is the one I'm getting to the most, which is a bit unfortunate. I will probably fix that, but he's a good price for the role he's playing. Decent enough spot. Norm Powell over here as well. Jaden McDaniels, another cheap Timberwolf 4K flat. He's okay. I don't mind Koulibaly in a tournament. His minutes are generally pretty safe, even if they get blown out. He's a young guy, so 30-ish minutes should be good for him. PG at 8K flat is okay in a tournament also. Justin Champagny going to be pretty chalky. I'm not super psyched about that, but he has been good in the starting role so far.
Okay. Kirkwood, your thoughts at the 3.
All right. I need a freaking haircut, and then I'll put a new. I won't be wearing a hat if I get a haircut, and I could.
I
use
don't
a
mind
new
the hat,
hat.
but Boston. Ugh.
That's all I got right now. It's all, I'm not a big hat guy in general.
Anything else? All right.
But I need a haircut. I was like, this looks too scruffy. You gotta throw it. Anyways,
yeah.
Thank you. Small forward, Norman Powell. A lot of the same names here: Zach LaVine, Justin Champagnie, Brandon Miller, Cameron Johnson. Those are all really strong plays. Dean Wade starting now at 3,800 is a decent piece of value, especially if this game blows out. I think he probably will still play for a bunch of minutes in it. And he can hit some threes. He can rebound. He can do a lot of stuff. So he's pretty good. Rui Hachimura, 5,500. It's without LeBron. It's just he's going to play a boatload of minutes. You could get 35 plus minutes out of him. He's only 5,500. I like it. And the Roop, I don't know if you're ever in NBA chat, but we have a guy named Roop, and he makes the Roop Poop play of the day. And it used to be the Roop Opto play of the day, but it's so many of them have not hit lately. It's now called the Roop Poop of the day, and his play is Jaden McDaniels. So I wanted to shout him out and give him some love for that play.
Is it Roopster? RUPSTER?
No, he's there. This is Roop Insurance or something. I think he's an insurance agent or something. He's also he just got arrested for.
Why are you just burying our Discord members, man?
For a fight at the dog park, so he got anyway, it wasn't bad. It was like somebody grabbed his dog by the collar and he didn't appreciate that. So
yeah. It's probably just a written arrest. We've all been there. That barely counts. Those barely count. I want to hang out with him now. I'll tell you that. Power forward, what are we doing there, Kirkwood?
All right. He's going to love it if you catch it.
Wait, you outed his company and his arrest record back to back.
Aaron Gordon, I like a lot. Gets even better with Jamal Murray if he's out. Cam Johnson again. Julius Randle. Again, Miles Bridges for Charlotte, like that. He's back now, so he should pick up a lot of usage too in this game. And 6,000 against the Bulls seems pretty good, so I like that. Dean Wade again. You want to go off the board a little bit? Naz Reid, Alex Sarr, Rui Hachimura, but. Yeah, and Justin Champagnie is also power forward eligible.
Okay. Taylor, what are you doing at power forward?
Yeah, a lot of the same stuff Kirkwood mentioned. I think Aaron Gordon is a really good play. Miles Bridges, kind of similar. Maybe not going to be super limited in his first game back. Should see the usage without LaMelo. Chicago's also like the awesome matchup. So I think Miles Bridges is okay in a tournament. Like the Nas call, Cam Johnson again. I'm getting to some Amir Coffey and some Batum. Like Batum is 3-1. He's horrible per minute, but he might start. They're thin on the wing, so a dusting of Batum I think is okay in a large field tournament. That probably does it.
Okay, then we get to go to the center spot, and I feel like it's much more interesting on DK because we can play two, and I feel like maybe we are playing two, Taylor?
I think you're definitely playing two. I'm playing Smith and Jokic. I assume everyone will do that. Embiid's 9,500. Not going to be super limited. We think good enough matchup also against Indiana. They allow a ton of paint points. Embiid is a really good play on DraftKings, assuming he's going to be a little bit lower owned than Jokic. Valanciunas is coming off the bench, so he gets a little bit of a downgrade, but he's still cheap. He's still elite per minute. I think you can play him in a tournament. Jared Allen, like we talked about, gets a boost without Mobley. That kind of does it. Like beyond Jokic, Smith, and Embiid, you're kind of just throwing darts.
Okay. Kirkwood, you got any names, your favorites there at the center spot, or are you just doing the chalk Jokic, Smith?
Yeah, this is just such an opportunity cost to not playing these guys. I think it's Jalen Smith, I think you play, and you could make a case because you can still fit like Embiid and Joker together, but man, it's tough. Like the value is much thinner, but so it's Jalen Smith with either Embiid, Joker, or Anthony Davis. If you really want to go a different direction and pay up at some other positions, you could play like Jalen Smith and Jared Allen together. Could end up working out. But man, the ceiling on Joker in this spot and Anthony Davis, even though it is Minnesota, is they're just so high. And then Embiid too, like against the Pacers, against the Pacers at 90, his price at 9,500 is just too cheap.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, guys. We want to open up to some QQs. You got about 5 minutes or so until lock. Make sure you're getting those lineups in and ready and registered. Let's see what we've got. As always, we're going to start with some questions in the RG Discord. Shout out to producer Steve for bringing them to the private chat. FanDuel Cash, Taylor, I'm coming to you. Giddey Levine or Cliff Paul and Brandon Miller?
Second one.
Taylor, back-to-back DK or just cash questions. This is a DK cash. Who are your must plays in DK cash, Taylor?
Jalen Smith, very obvious one. Probably Jokic now that you can pay down for Smith. That's probably Norm Powell too. Like going to be really chalky. I think that's a good cash play. I don't mind KPJ, and then I would personally get Kobe White in there, but not a must.
Okay. Does Micic make the cut there or no?
He's fine. Like I don't think it's a must, but yeah.
Makes it for me.
Yeah. Okay. So he's in the mix. Okay. FanDuel single entry Kirkwood. Any interest in Harden as a spend up?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Easy enough.
Yeah.
We'll see what else we've got. Jumping into the YouTube chat for some questions that are coming in here. Is anybody playing Zubac, Kirkwood? Is he center only? Because if we can't play him if he is.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's in play a little bit. Like he's just kind of like a fringe, right? Like he was looking kind of like a good tournament pivot, and he's been like slowly dropping down a little bit with the value with Jalen Smith. But yeah, why not?
Yeah. Let's see. Taylor, coming to you from Caesar. He says Powell or Cam Johnson. DK, last piece, please. I love when they say please.
I think I would go Powell, but both are great.
Okay, Powell, you're welcome. What else do we have? There's just a hot take here from Hammer. Woofin says the Bulls play no D. Brandon Miller breaks the slate tonight. Taylor, you on board with that call?
Yeah, I'm a little bit under him on DK because he's so expensive, but yeah, great call.
Okay, we'll go to Q Gilly. Kirkwood, Justin or Julian Champagne? We got a battle of the Champagnes. FanDuel single entry. Who do you prefer on FanDuel?
Julian.
Okay. Back to you here, Kirkwood. DK Cash question. Cam Johnson or Kobe White at the util spot? DK Cash. Cam, Kobe.
It's really close. I think go White.
Okay. Taylor, back to you. Got a couple questions. This one from Jim. He says, your thoughts on Reed, please.
Naz Reed, I like quite a bit. I think he's a good tournament play.
And I assume there's some forward eligibility there?
Yeah, you can play him forward.
Anger says, Taylor, Wade in a FanDuel GPP. It's a name we brought up, right? Was that only on DK or?
I think he's okay. I just think he's got pretty limited ceiling. So in a tournament at ownership, I don't love it.
Okay. That is fair. Make sure you get your questions in. Make sure you get your thumbs up in here. We've got about 2 minutes until lock. If the questions slow down, we will sit here in awkward silence for 2 minutes. And I will be extremely uncomfortable because I don't deal well in those situations. More comments, more questions. Here we go. Thank you, Paul. Kirkwood says Powell or Westbrook in a big DK GPP. Powell or Westbrook?
For the big GPP, I would go Westbrook and just hope the news breaks. But Powell is the stronger play at the moment.
Okay. And do we have swappability, pivotability if we're playing Westbrook and then all of a sudden what's his face is in? Or are we just eating that? We don't know.
I don't know. Taylor, you know?
Taylor?
Is that FanDuel?
I don't know if it matters. No, it was DK.
So it was Powell or Russ?
But the real question is, if we go Russ, assuming that we get the news breaking in our favor with Jamal out, is there anything we can do at that point, or are we just locked into a crappy
If you're
Russ?
playing it at utility, you can pivot directly to, or guard, you can pivot directly to Powell. So,
okay.
yeah, I think I would go Russ because I think he'll be lower owned. And then if Murray's in, just play Powell.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's definitely not in the util because we got 2 centers, but at the guard.
Well, yeah. Well, at guard, hopefully then.
Yeah. Kirkwood, are you excited about Red Sox Nation this year?
No, they did. I think they got the best pitcher that available, and like, I think they won in the asterisk, but they're not opening up the checkbook yet. They're still like have this long-term outlook. Like one of these off seasons, I feel like they just didn't like what was available, and so I think we're going to have a rough year probably again this next year. But then they're going to open the checkbook soon. They have to.
Okay, I was curious. Are they just content to kind of be losers now for a while?
I think that's their plan right now.
Yeah.
Just like not waste, not ruin the farm on some overpaid players. Yeah. Like even Juan Soto's contract is ridiculous. But
sometimes you got to bottom out.
You have unlimited money though. It's okay.
Uncle Stevie has unlimited. Exactly. He doesn't care. He's
nice.
He's willing to just throw it all. Like
baseball's so.
It's
dumb.
not nice, Roth, until I see the actual win.
Yeah,
I need them to win.
Stupid sport. Oh, I'm just going to pay this guy $800 million. I'm going to pay this guy $700 million. It's just ridiculous. It's a dumb sport. Hey, guess what we did? We hit lock. We did. Mike B says 150 likes and Roth will eat 150 milligrams of gummies. I was going to do that anyways, but yeah, hit those likes. I have no idea how much that is. Probably a lot.
That's a lot. You're gonna go to the hospital.
I'd be drooling.
10 milligrams for you, and you probably would be like a riot and like maybe on the verge of needing to go like calling like a paramedic or something because your heart was racing or something.
Somebody get 150.
You're gone. You're going.
Yeah, let's do it. How pathetic are the Astros dumping Kyle Tucker?
Very.
They might know something though. And
they were not going to pay him.
Chop said he's lazy. That's the word on him. So I got to trust Chop. The guy's been around the block.
Lazy. Chop would know. He's an H-Town legend. All right, we're getting some thank yous in. I have my wife's office company party, which is why I'm good. Anyways, I got to bounce. We got to get out of here if that's the point. I'm going to do 150 milligrams of edibles, go to my wife's corporate party and see how it goes. So for Taylor, for Kirkwood, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.